Let's get started on tasks training, ND tasks. And the first thing I want to do here is let's go over to the NetDocs admin console. So I'm going to click on the word admin right here. And we're just going to come over to information and settings. And then from information and settings, I'm going to click on the word information. Now, these are all the different components in NetDocs. And if we scroll down here, ND tasks is checked off, meaning I have tasks. So tasks is an add-on product, just to be clear about that to begin with. It's not something that comes with the original NetDocs account. It's something that you have to add on to it. So I always want to be clear about this. This is not a sales call. I'm going to explain what NetDocs tasks do, but you may or may not have it, okay? So if you don't have it, you can talk to your NetDocs account rep about purchasing it. I don't even know what the cost is. So that's a NetDocs thing. Let's switch back into NetDocs. Now that I have tasks, you will see that there is a My Tasks section in NetDocs that will appear when you have tasks. Let's come over and open up a workspace. Notice I also have the tasks option right here as well, showing me tasks for this actual workspace. Other thing to talk about in the setup here is if we go to any workspace, we can enable tasks, but what I really see people end up doing, so once they've purchased tasks, let's say for the client's cabinet, and again, only a NetDocs admin can actually do this. If we come over to define workspace templates and we check enable tasks right here, and we're going to come back to this, then you're going to see that tab in every matter, which is probably what you want. Now, let me actually delete this. We'll start over again. All right, so we're coming over to Massive Dynamic. We've clicked on tasks. It says you don't have any boards yet. Create the first one and manage your tasks. So let's create a task board. We'll just go through this together. I'm going to call this intake, and then we will just hit OK. Now, we have tasks here, so let's create the first one, and let's add task, client, signs, engagement letter, add, there's a to do there now, client fills out intake sheet. And let's click add there as well. So we've created two tasks. So again, if we're working in NetDocs now, in our documents section here, there's all our documents. Everyone on this call should be familiar with this, right? Everyone knows NetDocs documents, how you work. And we come over to tasks now. We're going to see the task board and these two tasks that we have created. Let's go to client signs engagement letter here. And let's just look at the different things that we can do. So give this a due date. So I'm going to say this is due on the 9th. Okay, how long, estimate of how long it will take, we'll do 0.5. Oh, let's just do 1 hour. Okay, select a color, we'll just choose red. It was created by me, who we're going to tag it. It was all the people that work at our company. I created it. I'm going to be the person that is in charge with doing it. Tags, we'll do manage tags. Tag, we'll call this, we're going to go over what all this is. We'll do this. We'll just do this engagement as well and hit save. May or may not be a good reason to do it. And so here under the description, client signs engagement letter and sends back to us. We'll just hit save here. So there's our task. Now we see, because we gave it that color, we see the little red there. Due Friday, June 9th. Okay, if we come over here, add to calendar is an option as well. Outlook calendar, so we can come over here and we've created a calendar event. Let me actually open up Outlook so we can see this. This isn't a NetDocs thing. This is me not being prepared for this call and not opening up Outlook, which I always do. My Outlook is a little bit slow because I'm doing so many different trainings with different people here. All right, let's open up our calendar, Outlook. I just want you to see what this calendar invite will look like. So it's an all-day event right here. We'll just hit accept. And so now on our calendar, we have this all-day event client signs engagement letter that has just been added. That's what happens when you go to create a calendar event. Documents. So there is the ability to come in here and look through this workspace and choose a document. And in this sense, I think we would be choosing the engagement letter here, right? So I can go through my entire workspace. We'll just pretend that, let's just grab a word. Here we go. There's our little document. And so then we can click on this to open it up. Comments as we're working here, called the client and ask them the status. All right, add activity. This is the audit trail. We have this in NetDocs. We call it history, but now you're seeing everything that's happened here. Pretty helpful, right? All right, so there's the client signs engagement letter task that we have created. And then as we are working on stuff, we can use this, and this is referred to as the Kanban board, right? Which you've probably read about before. I'm working on this. I'm going to drag it over here to doing. So then when anyone goes into the matter, they can see what I'm working on. And the nice thing is all our documents are here. So the documents that we're working on are assigned to it. When I'm done, I would move it over here to done, but it's really easy. I'm using my left mouse button to drag these tasks apart. Now, we've only created 2 tasks. Let's come over back to NetDocs to the home page. You know that's the home page because we have the picture of the home. And if we come over to my tasks now, here are the 2 tasks that we created. The nice thing about my tasks, it's not matter-centric. It's just all the tasks that I've either created or have been assigned to me. This one, client fills out intake sheet here. We didn't assign it to anyone. Client signs engagement letter. We did assign to me. Now, there's our documents, comments, activity there. You see all the stuff, category change, document attached, like that. Due by Friday, June 1st here. Let's come back to the matter. Recent. We'll come over to tasks, and I want to complete this. I'll just drag it over here. And this task is now done. Let's go to client, fill out intake sheet. Well, let's do the first thing here. If we open this up, I'm going to come over here, edit task name, client fills out intake sheet, so you can correct my bad spelling. Now, subtasks, send client intake sheet. All right, so you can add a subtask. Now I'll hit enter here. Client sends back intake sheet. Enter. Review intake sheet. So this is just regular like legal process, right? We're going to send something to a client. They're going to send it back to us. We're going to review it, and then it's done. So I can assign myself to this. I'm also going to assign 2 people. So this is assigned to 2 people here. And then we'll hit save. Now let me drag this over to doing. I can also open this up. We've sent the intake sheet. Now we're just waiting on the client to send it back to us, and then it will be filled out. And again, documents, we could attach a document, comments, emailed the intake sheet to the client. Add. There's a mark complete, archive, and copy. Okay, so let's just come over to client fills out intake sheet. Might be something that we're doing all the time. And see, we have just hit copy, and we could copy that here as well. Now, coming back to tasks right now, we are on the intake task board, and we can filter this. So who it's assigned to, when the due date is, you've got a lot of different options here. Estimated how long, who created it, tags, and this is where the tags maybe come in, status, completed, uncompleted. So you do have some options there on the filter. List view just lists out every single task. Instead of looking at it at the Kanban board, we can just say, hey, just show me everything right here. Full screen will pop this thing out. So we're seeing everything in our little web browser in a full screen. There we go. And then we've got our individual boards here. We could, instead of calling doing, like, let me just come back over here, edit list title. We'll call this in progress and hit save. All right, that's basic me going in and using tasks. Not a lot to it, new product, right? But I think really to take super advantage of this, what you want to do is look at actually creating templates for these tasks. So I'm going to come over to workspace templates here. Let's go from the very beginning here. So we're going to, let's do it this way. Hi, and then my first name. We're going to come over to the word admin. And then from here, we'll open up a cabinet. And then look here. 5th option, task templates. Let's open up the task templates. All right. We can create a template. So we're going to do what we just did, but we're going to systematize it so we can use it over and over again. Create task template, and we'll call this intake. Then we will hit OK. Here is our template, and we're going to go here, send client engagement letter. We'll hit add, client fills out intake sheet. We'll just call this fill out intake sheet. And then we'll hit add. So there is a template that we've created called, and we could create more stuff here. Again, maybe we want to call this as a title list if you want to, doing. Not that I think that really matters. All right, and now we will hit update here. All right, so we've created this task template. So a couple things that we can do here is let's go into the pension lawsuit. Let's come over to tasks, create the first task board. See, we have that intake. I'm just going to call it intake here. So there's the intake automatically created. I mean, only did two to-dos here, but if we had done 15 or 20, it'd be nice. And these automatically get created, and then you can go in, assign them, and then move them around. So you don't have to automatically create them from scratch every single time. There is something else we can do here. Let's come over to admin. We're going to go into clients demo. I'm going to come over to define workspace templates. And then from here, add task board template. So tasks are enabled. So I can basically say, and we'll come down, we should see this. We're adding the intake task board to any new workspace created. So it actually gets better if we have set up different workspace templates per area of practice. So litigation versus bankruptcy versus med-mal, versus IP, government affairs. Like you have different types of law, you could have different task templates that are created. Now, tasks is relatively new, and I kind of feel like just any product that comes out there, this is 1.0. I can't wait till they add some more features. Realistically, for me, the thing that I'm really waiting for here is we have our task templates. Let's come back here. So we're going to come over to task templates. Here's our intake one that we've created. We can just basically create a task, but I can't come in here right now and go in and add subtasks or default assign them to people or groups. I have to create the task, and then someone has to come in here and then assign all that stuff. So to me, I think the feature they have to add, which they will add, is the ability to automatically create subtasks, so you don't have to create them all the time. I really think at the end of the day, is this a replacement? Because this is where people are like, is this a replacement for practice management software? Do I need practice management software, document management software? I mean, the term they'll use is it's practice management light. NetDocs doesn't want to become a practice management software, but so much of the document life cycle is involved with to-dos and stuff like that. So, I mean, it is nice to be able to come in here and just see where we are in this matter. If we systematize what we do, we can have basic to-dos. Where are we? Who's working on what? And it's all related back to the documents. So I think it's a great building block to become really, really effective. I think I really need the subtasks to be in there. So when I've had to set these up for law firms before, we don't want to have to create the same subtasks every single time, okay? But once we can do that, I think this will just even become more powerful, and they'll continue to add features to it. So quick presentation today on NetDocs tasks. We'll just come back over. Remember, for Optimal, if we come over here, let's just come over to our events, optimal.com/events, and we're doing task training. You will see all of our other trainings set up here as well. So we'll keep going through and adding stuff. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.